All I'm saying is Biden is doing a much better job his first week than Trump did.
Welcome to Pull the Pin Already, a place where average veterans come to share their opinions on the world we live in. We can't guarantee you're going to like our opinions.
But we promise we're going to enjoy giving them to you.
I'm Jim.
And I'm Mike.
And I'm Brian.
Let's pull the pin.
Shall we?
Yes. Topic of the day. 30. Am I did I get the number right there, Jim? 30.
As of this moment, yes.
Yeah. 30 executive orders his first week. I don't know how many Trump did his first week or first month or whatever, but I'm going to venture to say he didn't do that many.
No.
So what do you guys think is going on here?
That 30 I got off CNN website.
Uh-huh.
And is it in 3 days? In 3 days he did 30.
I tried to give him the benefit of the doubt and say the first week.
Yeah, that's not a week, that was 3 days.
Yeah.
And that's definitely. And there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of those 30 are to reverse something that Trump did.
That's it?
How many?
10 out of 30.
Just 10?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I don't find that too alarming. I mean, I don't find it too alarming. I mean, what'd you expect him to do?
Well, I guess the part that's alarming is that compare that to all the other presidents, I think in their first year, I think it was, or was it their first week? I don't know, but all the other presidents, I think the highest one was like 9 or something. If I remember correctly.
But it's like we talked about in an earlier episode. I don't remember this from Bush, Clinton, Obama. I don't remember it being that much. You know, maybe 1 or 2 here. Like I thought it was a lot under Trump because I was like, it's almost like every other day or at least twice a week or so you would hear something about executive order reversing Obama's policy on whatever. You know, I was like, damn, man, this guy is trying to wipe everything President Obama did, wipe it away. You know, like he never existed or whatever, going after, like they say, going after the legacy. And I'm like, now somebody's doing it to him. And then when we had, was it Mike Watts on? And he said, yeah, they all do that. They always do that. And I was like, okay. I don't remember seeing it that often. And I'm like, I think my main thing is, okay, the 10 for reversing a Trump policy program or whatever, I get it. He's on the left, he was on the right, whatever. I get it. But the other 20, like, what's the rush?
Well, I guess maybe we should figure out like what an executive order really is, because I don't think before they had much power, and from what I understand, the executive order is not like it's not like a law. It's just a way for him to tell the people who work below him what his plan of action is. So, for example, like if stopping the wall, he controls, the border patrol. So he's telling them, hey, we're not going to spend our time building a wall anymore, so stop doing it. It's not like a law or anything like that. And even when Trump or all the other presidents were doing it, it really doesn't have a lot of weight per se. So if that's the case, then it's kind of really just become a political game, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But don't you think that sounds like it should be what a new president does anyways? I mean, if he's got things he wants to do, hey, this is showing the people that, hey, this is how I feel, and this is what I want to happen. And it kind of gives his team a go by, I think. You know what I mean? I don't think I think a lot of people are thinking it's like some kind of like, state of emergency, actually, like where we have to act on it. But I don't know much about it.
No, I think you're right. And I think, in fact, if that's the case, I think this is great because this is the most we've heard where Biden stands on anything. All campaigning, nobody knew where he stood, and he would reverse the pipeline stuff and all that, fracking. So nobody knew. So at least these executive orders are giving people an idea where he stands, whether he follows through or not.
Yeah, because you can't retract that.
Right. And it's in writing. He signed it. Right.
Yep.
I think the challenge I see with it, and maybe it's not a challenge, but like some of the executive orders, like the pipeline stuff, like to me, are we going to go to war with Canada? Probably not. You know what I mean? But like to me, that would be something I would think as a president, if I was president, that would be a conversation with Canada before I signed that. You know what I mean? That wouldn't be hey guys, let's stop working on the pipeline. We're not doing it anymore. I would be on the phone with Trudeau or whoever's actually running Canada and be like, hey, this is my intention. Give me your feedback now before I sign this,
Who's to say they didn't know? Who's to say that he didn't have that conversation?
Well, Canada is, because Canada's suing us. Canada has a lawsuit in because of the expenses they already occurred.
And then I laugh at that. Like, one country is suing another country. Like, okay, What does that mean? What are you going to pay money? You know what I mean?
Well, they will pay money.
They will? You really think they would?
You want to keep good relations, you would. I mean, if we're going to send pallets to Iran,
yeah, we do.
Why wouldn't we be paying?
Anyways?
Why couldn't we print a couple extra bucks for Canada?
Yeah, why not? Hey, you're sorry, man. Here's some.
They probably pay him a certain percentage of the contract.
Okay.
Well,
that makes sense.
From what I understand too, is like what happened was Trump actually, he's the one that kind of set that pipeline thing in place. And I was watching one of these lawyer channels. I love watching some of them because they explain things that I'm like, wow, I didn't even realize that. But apparently Trump set it up that it can be stopped at any time. So it's almost really Canada's fault for allowing that. So they walked into a contract deal that at any moment, if Trump didn't get elected, could have been stopped.
Yeah.
So shame on them.
Yeah.
If Trump wanted this to go through with no way to stop it, there was a way to do that. So, but I guess they're complaining is that because people have already spent money, jobs, people are losing their jobs, and you're just putting an end to it like that.
So what would you say for the people out there listening who are saying something like, well, I don't care, but you're losing a lot of jobs.
What do you mean you don't care?
I don't care about the pipeline, but they're losing a lot of jobs. So what would you say to those people?
Well, I think people have to stop feeling like, we had this discussion plenty of times about the in my backyard thing. And I'm not one of those thinkers. I don't think in my backyard is the place to start because I think a lot of people don't realize, Brian will probably disagree with me and we've had these conversations, but they don't realize that these things do affect them. People going on unemployment affects you. It does because there's tax dollars, there's all kinds of things being paid. I mean, unemployment's an insurance, so it's not a direct, tax from you, but all those things do affect you. Maybe not in the immediate, maybe not in a big, in your face way, but at some point it's going to come to you and they might take a job that, affects you anyway. So I think people need to pay attention to all the things. Yeah.
And I also think those two sides of the story, I don't know the reason why they're not doing it. I don't know what the reasoning behind that is. Sure, we're going to lose jobs. Sure. Just like with the steel industry and all the other stuff, that everything is like somebody's going to lose over here and somebody's going to gain over here. You know what I mean? Jobs open over here and jobs will close over here. Now, who's to say what's right? I think that's why we vote. I think that's why we try to get the majority and we try to do the best to make it fair. But somebody's always going to lose on a deal. You know what I mean? That's just how I feel. I mean, it sucks. I mean, if I knew somebody that was on that contract, and I'd be bummed. I'd be rooting for them to keep that going. But I mean, it's
well, I guess that falls into the how he started the whole thing by saying it's not in your backyard. So now you just feel like, oh, somebody's going to win, somebody's going to lose. But if it was like me or Jim working on that contract, you'd be like, man, this is messed up.
Oh, right. Man, and I think about this stuff all the time. You're right. You're right.
And if you don't think I'm going to be a roommate because I lost my job with you, that's going to affect your life because I'm going to be staying upstairs in one of your bedrooms with my kids. So it is going to be in your backyard.
Yeah. I'm glad you said his. But anyway.
He lives much closer. Sorry.
Yeah, I know, right? But no, I have to stand by that. And, like I said, my friend Danny once said that the average American doesn't care about most things until it hits their backyard. And that's what that pipeline one is a classic example to me. It really is.
My question to you, though, is, sure, I agree 100% with that. So, but what am I supposed to do? Carry the burden of the world and be concerned about every issue that comes up with that? Or is it to say, hey, that sucks, show some empathy and say, hey, that sucks. Hopefully, you know what I mean? Hopefully we have something to vote on that we could, or some kind of some kind of, I don't know what you would call it, some kind of money moved around for education or something, or transferring jobs. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what that is called.
Yeah, I
but-
mean, like if they got rid of a lot of the contracts, it would affect me, in my household. And I'm like, yeah. Then I'd be like, hey, President, hold up, why'd you do that? Well, I don't understand. The only thing I see is the effect on me, right? So the average American, if you look at him signing executive orders, stop building the wall, executive orders, stop this pipeline, people are like, yeah, okay. That didn't have nothing to do with me. So, okay, go, Mr. President, go.
So
If they liked them, they're going to continue to like them. If they didn't like them, and even if it didn't affect me, right, in any way whatsoever, it didn't affect me. So now, if I didn't support Biden, I'm still not going to support him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
right. If you have a solution, you got to recommend the solution, right? But if you don't have a solution, there's still an outlet. Like people say that, and I started to do this lately. I have people that do represent me. I have lower level people that represent me. And when I hear something in the media, in the mainstream, or what the president's doing, I get in there, I shoot a quick email to my representative, say, hey, what are you doing about this? I'm not happy with it. Maybe that's nothing. Maybe but a quick email to show my displeasure or ask a question forces my representative to acknowledge me. And if everybody was doing that, that would be a great sign on where our representatives are supposed to lean and make decisions.
Yeah, I think if they get enough responses from different things, I think they do respond. I'm not.
Oh, I got a
100% that.
response. Yeah, I got a response from my emails. And I was impressed with one of the response. He explained to me, this is why I made this decision. I was actually impressed, got a little more respect for the man.
Wow.
But the problem, what I'm saying is, I did that because I said, this may be the right thing to do. It's not in my backyard, but it may be in my backyard one time or one day from wherever, So let me ask about it, at least inquire. And I think if everyone did that, we probably would make a difference.
Yeah, I agree. I agree 100%. Another thing is that when people, I think you said it in an earlier episode also, about people don't even know who these local politicians are, first and foremost, right? The only thing they might see at the lowest they'll go is a senator. Anything after that, it's the president. I've had conversations with people, they didn't even know who their governor was. You get what I'm saying? So
Right.
It's like, or let alone the mayor. And they don't care about that. It's all about the national attention, and that's
Right.
their focus.
We have a mayor.
And sometimes I understand, because if they don't deal with local government, you don't see local government. Maybe if you deal with your schools, and if you don't have kids in school, I don't see the interaction with the local government as much. That's more like building things, road issues, So I understand how sometimes people don't affect that. Like when you're talking about national issues, that's in the media. You don't
Yeah.
see local stuff in the media, so people don't ever encounter local government. But now that COVID came along, everybody should know who their governor is.
Yeah,
Everybody probably knows who their governor is.
it's true.
So
I don't know.
do you want to look at some of these, out of the first, I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Out of the first 7, 5 of them were immigration. Does that affect you?
No,
That's not in your backyard, immigration?
no. I live in California. I know when it's in my backyard. Okay. Never mind. I'll leave it at that.
No, I mean, no. I don't even know how to answer that, man.
my
Because I
backyard
wanna
once a week.
if I say yes, it's in my backyard, and then you come with the justifiable question of, well, why do you say it's in your backyard? I don't know what my response to that would be. Just
Right.
as
Texas.
just as an American, yeah, but still, man, Texas is huge.
Well, you got to think about this economic impact. There's different sides to all that BS.
Okay,
You know what I mean?
then someone will ask you, Brian, okay, what's the economic impact? Because I'm not feeling it.
I have no clue.
Yeah,
I can tell you-
that's what I'm saying.
I can tell you what the economic impact is.
But I've heard both sides. I've heard arguments for both that sound legitimate. As far as like you're saying, I know what you're going to say, Jim. You're probably going to say, are you going to talk about the welfare? I think we've had this discussion before, where they're entitled to,
Hospitals.
they're entitled to these things and they're not paying into it. They're working under the table. They're not paying into taxes. But I've also heard stories. If you look at them, the ones that are working on illegal Social Securities, which a lot of them do. I knew somebody that worked in the hotel industry. They would hire only people that were illegal because they were the only ones that would stay. You know what I mean? They'd bust their ass and they'd work for a very low wage, and that was the way that these hotels maintain themselves. But if you think about those people that are working under somebody's Social Security, they can never file taxes, they'll never get a tax return, and they are paying into taxes. So, whereas if it was an American person working that $10 an hour job, they would file taxes and they would get a return, right, for their kids and all that. They don't get those tax credits. They have to pay into those taxes and they don't get anything back. So there's thousands and thousands, millions of dollars that doesn't get returned to the people that are in that low income. So I think there's a give and take on that, but I get what you're saying. I do.
Well, they're still taking jobs, and I understand what you might make the argument that, well, they're taking jobs people don't want. I understand that, but I guarantee you, pushed into a choice, whether you have no job or you have to do this job, people might have to do the jobs they don't want to do.
Yeah, I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. If you look at the labor jobs that they do and they bring them in over the fields and stuff like that down there in California, I mean, it's labor, dude. Like, nobody's going to do that. People will sit on whatever they can on welfare before they go and do those jobs. I guarantee it. And it doesn't matter.
That's my point. That's my point.
And it's also feeding. It's also putting food on your table. Who's out there doing that? Bringing those vegetables in for $5 a basket. You know what I mean? We're benefiting, but we're also think whether we're not benefiting. But I don't know. It's tough.
It's a good point, because if you really had, let's call it a legal American, doing those jobs, you would have to pay them at least minimum wage. So then the cost of that product is going to go up.
Yes.
So
yes.
I kind of see your point. Not kind of. I do see your point.
So you got to be careful what you wish for. Like, I went through this before. I mean, even in school, this was a big topic, especially being in California. But it's like, gosh, you could go both ways. But I mean, you go one way, you think you're helping, and you could be hurting. You could be paying more in your backyard. You know what I mean? For lettuce, for strawberries, for all those things that we take for granted. I mean, it's crazy how cheap it is.
So how different is that than sending all our jobs and buying everything from China?
How's that different?
Yeah, how different is it?
Well, us as Americans, we have that choice. We really do have the choice to buy American or not, but we choose to buy the cheaper thing.
Right, which is like why vegetables are cheaper and all that, because we're paying, somebody's missing out on, paying them full wages that we think America's. I mean, you can't make the argument that we got enough money to pay people a minimum wage to make a cost of living, and then make the argument, well, the only reason vegetables are smart because we're paying people less over here and they're illegal. Like, you can't make both arguments.
I didn't say they were illegal either. Not all of them are illegal. They do have people that come in on visas. They literally come for weeks of the year and they work for like $5 an hour or whatever it is, and then they go back home.
Wasn't that illegal?
No, they bring them on buses. Like, they literally come up here and work in the fields and then go back. Legally.
But I thought as long as they come over with a visa, they have to abide by our working standards, which means a company has to pay them a certain wage.
Yeah, but I have to look into this, but I'm pretty sure that it's below the actual state or the federal minimum. Maybe it's the federal minimum wage, but it's lower than California's minimum wage. If I remember correctly, it was pretty low. I mean, they literally bring them on buses over, they work in the fields, and then they bus them back.
So, before it gets convoluted, I have no problem with that. I have no problem with going to Mexico or whatever country you want to recruit people and say, hey, come on over here with a visa and do the farm jobs. We'll pay you this. But I have no problem with that. I'm talking about the illegals that come over. They have no connection, no accountability, take the money, ship it back to their home country, have nothing but take. And maybe they work hard. That's great. But they're still taking.
What if you had a good friend, Jose, that was illegal, and he was getting deported?
Listen, Brian.
Wrong.
Listen, Brian. What if I have a relative?
Yeah.
That's here illegal, was an awesome carpenter, can fix up my house, anything I needed, so I didn't have to spend money. What if I had that? Yeah. What if I did? Okay.
So you still feel the same way?
Yeah, he's still here illegally. He's still doing the same thing.
Oh, you think he's taking the job from someone else?
Yeah, he has to be.
Yeah, okay.
Now, if nobody absolutely wanted to do the job, don't you think companies and the government would go on recruiting? Like, isn't that what these other countries do? I've seen, you've seen it overseas, Afghanistan, Saudi Arabia. I saw plenty of it.
Yeah.
You'd go to these countries like the Philippines, they'd offer them this wage, they'd bring them over. I'm not going to talk about how corrupt I think that system was, but they would do that because they had a shortage of workers in their country, would do that, and they would
Oh, I
pay
mean,
these people.
Oh yeah, I mean, look at Leatherneck in Afghanistan. I mean, all the contractors there. It was just crazy. I mean, these guys are getting shipped in from all over.
Mm-hmm.
Probably not making crap compared to what an American would make as a contractor, but
But nobody's sneaking into Saudi Arabia,
sure.
and it will never happen like that.
Right.
Well, they just chop your fucking hands off.
Yes, they will.
Well, I think
That's a tough story.
for me, the amount of money that they may somehow affect our. I don't see how them sending money back home to their family is affecting our economy, or me personally.
Well,
You get what I'm saying?
No, not the
well,
simple act, but the fact that they're making money under the table.
Right.
Nobody's getting tax money for that, and then they're going around, turn around, using our services that we're paying taxes for.
here's a thought.
Oh,
Here's a-
okay. I got you.
Here's a thought, though. I mean, if you look at the money in drugs and the cartels and the amount of money that is going back across the borders for that kind of stuff, I think trying to combat that in some way, whether it's legalizing drugs or whatever, however you're going to do that, fixing that problem, I think, is way more important. You know what I mean? That's causing so many more deaths and corruptions and money going out. And I honestly, the healthcare thing, I mean, we are such a rich nation. We should be able to freaking figure this shit out. We should. There's too much money. We're giving millions and millions of dollars, yet we're worried about, people coming over and working their asses off doing labor jobs. That's just my thought.
So there's my point. You circle back around to what I was trying to say. If we're such a rich country, we figured that out. Why can't we figure out a way to subsidize vegetables so we don't have to pay a lot of money for them? Why do we have to, rely on low-income workers? Why can't we pay the people and then the government can supplement the farmers for the cost to keep the cost down? So it's all around about. The difference being is the more people you let in, the more numbers we have, it changes everything. And when you talk about the healthcare, I might be for a single-payer healthcare system. I might be for all that if you control the immigration. Because that's why Sweden and those, or whatever those countries, Norway, Finland, whatever those cool countries we always like to say, Denmark, because their borders are controlled. They have a strict number of people that fluctuate slightly so they can account for healthcare issues.
Yes.
Our
Yes.
numbers can change day to day drastically.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a caravan coming right now.
Yeah, but they also don't have the best colleges. They don't have the best. I mean, we have such people are dying to get to this country. That's different. You know what I mean? Those countries, nobody's dying to get over to Finland or dying to get to Canada. You know what I mean? People are dying to get to the United States.
How do you know that has nothing to do with because of the fact they won't let you in?
What's that?
I might swim to Denmark if they'd let me in, but they're not going to let me in. So I ain't wasting my time swimming there.
Really?
America has been the beacon of bring everybody where you're all
Opportunity.
coming in.
The beacon of opportunity.
Dude,
That's what it is.
I'm telling you right now, go ahead and try to sneak into Canada. Try to sneak into Mexico. It ain't
You
happening.
can. You can walk right up to the border. They had a big problem with that. There's no border in Canada. You could literally walk in. They had people
Oh, but
just
you ain't
walk in.
staying. You ain't staying.
Sure. Oh, but you can't stay in the United States either, can you? They deport you. They deport you. Oh, sure they do. You get in a car accident on DUI, and you don't have a valid. They'll send you back.
No, dude, they're not. You're not even allowed to ask anymore in most states.
Jim, I know for a fact.
I
I'm
know,
not gonna
I was
say
a
why
cop.
I know, but I looked face to face with the guy.
I was a
he
cop,
going back.
dude.
And he
I was a
going
cop.
back.
I was a cop. Said, hey, we got somebody who doesn't have a license here. Oh, write him a ticket. Let him go.
But did he commit a crime? Did he commit a crime like a DUI?
No, I just profiled and harassed him. Of course, he committed a crime.
I get what you're saying, Brian, but nah, not when I was a cop, man.
Where at?
In Georgia. Now, the only thing I will say, and I tell everybody this,
What if you commit a serious crime, like a felony? Do they just
okay,
take you to jail?
how deep you want to go?
Well, I just want to know. I mean, did you ever treat somebody with a felony that didn't get
No.
deported?
Yeah,
Okay.
no.
Well, I'm going to tell you this. I don't know if they were deported. I
Right.
really don't. Because once they ship them off, I don't know. I don't keep track, you know what I mean? I don't keep track of it.
Well, I watched a few guys. It was like this weird thing where they have to wait 30 days. Then the federalities or whatever have to pick up the case, and then if they don't do it within so many days, then they release them. You know what I mean? But they still get charged with the DUI.
Yeah, you still get charged and everything, but sometimes they'll know offhand. They'll make the phone call, and they'll say, nah, you can let them go.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, California, I know. I mean, yeah, it was very rare. I mean, you'd have to really be. Yeah, I get it. I get it.
Well, the problem, Brian, is we can discuss it and obviously never have to argue about it because there's so many problems that are so intertwined. Like that's where I think the difficult challenge comes. If it was just simple black and white, like if we build this fence, nobody will come in. Everybody'd be making probably better choices. But the problem is when you make one choice, it affects something else, which then may create another dilemma and down the line. So everything's so intertwined that we really have to take it apart and figure out what's best for the country.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, in our country also, everyone's talking about Mexico and all this other stuff, but you have so many people from Europe, they'll come here legally on a tourist visa, and you have it for like 60, 90 days or whatever, and next thing you know, 9 years later, they're still here.
Yeah.
Don't you remember that the Chinese were sending over people that were pregnant? They told them how to
Right,
get
yeah,
through the
yep,
border and whatever and
yeah,
customs, and then they were having babies here.
yep.
Yeah, there was a
Once that
whole
happens, that's it.
corruption. They broke a ring of that.
Yep.
Well, well, and then what about? I mean, we take so many refugees too. I mean, how many refugees do we take a year from Somalia or wherever? I mean, I know in near Seattle they had a pretty big Somalian refugee. It's like they just dumped them there. You know what I mean? They had a big population of them.
And we
I'm
think
just saying.
you think there's a social worker that's accountable for all of them and says, okay, guys, your refugee's over, time to go home.
No, they get citizenship. They just can't get in
Right.
trouble for X amount of time and they're good.
That's my point.
And this guy told me they even gave him money, like a good amount of money to get going and make sure that he's on his feet. And they have the whole case with him. Like they follow the social workers follow up with them, with the family, they help them get employed, whatever. I mean, start a business. I mean, you name it.
Yeah. And that's what, now that right there is where people really have a problem because you're not even doing that for your own citizens.
And whose
But we
whose
are.
money?
But we
Whose
are.
money? Who are they getting money from? Not some endless magical pot of
Whoa,
money
whoa,
from the
whoa, whoa,
government.
Jim. Whoa, Jim.
But
Can you show me where Americans were treated like that?
what do you
Where?
mean?
Where they got money to start a business?
Sure.
Like you mentioned the refugees?
Yeah,
Sure.
Americans get
Yeah.
it. There's small business. There's small business loans that get.
Yes. Oh,
Small
yeah.
business. Oh, so they didn't just get, it wasn't gifted. It's a loan?
No, it was a loan. Yeah,
Oh,
but it was
okay, okay,
there was
okay.
these incentives. There's a lot of
Yeah,
incentives. I mean, there might
yeah,
have been a percentage you didn't have to pay back, or you know what I mean. You know how business
yeah.
loans are and stuff like
Okay.
that. But I mean, it sounded like a pretty good gig. Now I don't know all this information. This is jailhouse talk. I don't know. You know what I
Right, right, right. I got you.
mean?
I got you.
Literally jailhouse talk.
Well, yeah, just to, like I said, I don't see it firsthand. Does it affect our economy? I'm gonna say yes, but I think what affects our economy more is the fact that our government sends millions, hundreds of millions, possibly billions of dollars to foreign aid to other countries, and I'm like, nah, I don't agree with it. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
I don't
I'm
get it.
sorry.
And maybe there's something behind the scenes they're not telling us, but tell us. Give us a
No,
clue.
Like
no.
business deals.
Come on, let's be honest, guys. We all get along, we're friends and all of that, but you're gonna take care of your house before you take care of mine.
Yes.
You get what I'm saying?
Oh
Let's
yeah.
be honest about it, right? And that's, to me, you take care of your own.
But wasn't Trump blasted for that?
For what?
Didn't they turn this nationalism into white nationalism? Like a nationalist doesn't have to be about race. It's just crazy. It's putting your country first.
Okay.
But
Yeah, he was blasted for that. Everything comes back to Trump.
no, I'm just saying these executive orders about immigration are about the world. They're not about America. This is the opposite of nationalism. This is about let's be the world's beacon and let's make everybody in the world more important than us. And all these other countries are not saying that. They're not saying, "Hey, let's supply Americans with people because they need them."
Yeah, I
So
mean, all
yeah,
the other countries you mentioned, they say things like, "Yeah, you guys want to come here? That's fine, but you're gonna do it legally."
right.
Now,
Yeah.
Because why?
do you have illegals in Germany, Sweden, and countries like that? Yeah, you do, but not as many as we have.
Right.
Well, I got a neighbor. He's from somewhere in Russia area that somewhere in that continent area over there. I don't know the country name because they all got weird names and they sound similar. But really nice guy. He literally said how he got his citizenship. It was in an email. It was like online. And he's like, I'm gonna fill this out. You know what I mean? He said then
Wow.
like 4 or 5 months later they called me like, hey sir, I just want to congratulate you. He's like, huh? Seriously? He's like, yeah, you've been chosen in the lottery. He's like, I'm
Oh
going,
yeah,
man.
I've seen
I'm
that
going.
lottery. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
they had a lottery. Yeah.
Yep.
And you know what? It's great, man. He comes here. He's got his family. And it's funny because immigrants, they kind of stick together. They kind of go in the same job. You know what I mean? It's like, hey, I got so and so down there. Hey, Jimmy, Johnny. You know what I mean? Everybody gets in it. So they're all truck drivers, and
Hmm.
you know what
So
I mean? And they love it.
bring that down. That displays Mike's point exactly. Those people you're talking about, the country, bring it down. Their family, their immigrants taking care of each other. So why
Yeah.
wouldn't our country come first? You know, you take it up the step, the family, country. You know what I mean? Why wouldn't that
I
be
think
normal?
we do, but I think we do. I honestly think we do. I think us Americans, we do stick together at some point. I don't think it's 100%, but come on, man. I mean, there's so many
Mike-
opportunities.
Mike's like,
I mean-
what?
I mean, come on. Are you kidding me? You don't think that we don't do charity work? You don't think that, you know what I mean?
Well,
There's a
I-
lot of good things in this country.
I think it
And there's a lot of
exists.
people that are selfless.
I mean, yeah, I'll put it like this, man. You have the West Coast, you have Central, and you have the East Coast. Let's say, right?
Hmm.
If you take the amount of money in foreign aid,
Oh,
one
yeah.
year, just give it to the states on the East Coast. Next year, give it to the Central states. Next year, give it to the West Coast. Now, some states they're gonna blow it, like New York, California. They probably just gonna
California.
blow it, right?
Yeah.
They're gonna blow it on stupid things, let's say. But you're showing that you care about your own first. You get what I'm saying? So that down from what I see, no, I'm gonna say no. They don't always take care of their own.
Well, see, that's what puzzles me, Mike, and that's why if we're going to talk about the foreign aid, why are we doing both? Either we let people in, or we give foreign aid to keep them where they are because that's what they should be doing. So if we're paying people from Guatemala to make their country better and feed their citizens, why are we letting them come here? Like, isn't that the purpose? Wouldn't you rather be at home and having the United States help you build up your economy? What we
Well,
can't
then
do
there's
both.
a lot of corruption, though. When you talk about politicians, the money changing hands within one politician to another, who says that they're not banking that money, the majority of that money for their family. We just don't know.
Well, that's the reason I say
In
we
some
don't
of
give
those
them the money.
countries, yeah.
Yeah, that's the reason that if we're going to give them the money, we need to be accountable, or they need to be accountable, and we need to hold them accountable. If
I
they
would
blow
say
the
no,
money,
just
well,
don't.
right, I'd err on the side of not either.
Yeah.
Right.
You know,
Ryan.
when you look at some cities like you pick one, Detroit, and you look at some places like Tokyo, where they were 30 years ago versus now, and then you look at some of our cities and be like, damn, what the hell are we doing? What are we doing wrong? You know what I mean? And
Right.
you could point to people being on welfare and all. No. I wrote a paper on this also. If you go down to the unemployment office, all unemployment offices should have no jobs listed, no available jobs within that municipality or whatever. They shouldn't have any jobs listed because there shouldn't be any. If you're paying out all this money in unemployment, if you're paying out all this money in welfare, you can save so much if you just train people to do certain jobs, right? Train them and give them a skill. I don't care what it is, and then they get, or like you say, give the company some money for OJT. Hey, hire Jim. We know he's not a welder, damn it, but you're gonna train him on the job, and we're gonna, pay his paycheck for the first 2 months, and then he's yours.
Yeah,
get what
that
I'm
actually
saying?
exists. That actually exists. I went through that in Colorado.
So why
I
would
went through that.
there shouldn't be any jobs out there then?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There shouldn't be. There shouldn't be that many people on welfare.
Well, they
You know,
don't.
if
We
you have a
already.
single mother and she has 3 kids, okay, now you got to worry about childcare. Damn it, pay for the childcare. Get her a
Right.
job. I don't believe it. If they really wanted to help people, like Brian was just saying, you'll get them off of stop having them suck off the government's tit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just stop it.
Mike said.
No, yeah.
No,
Yeah.
but no, you to me, you should want to create a
You
as close as you can, $10,000, $20,000 a year taxpayer. You know what I mean?
But,
What they
but
pay
we are
that-
so, the problem is we're spoiled. That's the problem. We are fucking spoiled. I think that's the problem right there. We're spoiled.
Well, I don't. I think.
Why,
I think.
why is it that somebody that comes from Mexico or somebody like my neighbor comes here, works his ass off, and he's thrilled. He's just stoked. He lives in a house. He's like, it's great here. I came from a country, he goes, that there was nothing. There was farms. Like you're not, there's no future. Like you're just going to live on the farm. You're going to farm and you're going to live this mediocre life. You know what I mean? But he's like, here, it's just, you can do whatever you want. So it's great. But we're so spoiled and we think that everything should be given to us. We shouldn't have to work hard. And that's for somebody else to do. I think that's honestly what it is.
Well, yeah, I don't think that's not true. I definitely believe that we are a very spoiled country culture, but I also believe that we're very selfish. Like, do you think these people really want to fix the welfare problem?
No, I don't. The politicians, I don't.
You know, like you were saying.
What is there to fix?
Well, that's. But I'm saying, if you kick it down the road, you got another job next month. You got a reason to come to Congress. If you solve it, it's just like curing diseases. If they're cured, well, you ain't making money on any of the pills and medicine that you're making. So what's the incentive to fix it? If you're gaining off of it,
there's an incentive to keep it. Somebody's always going to abuse it. There's a reason that we have welfare. There's a reason so that if you do end up on the bottom, you have an opportunity to get back up on top. That's it. It's to catch the people that happen to go through, extenuating life circumstances and they need some help. That's what it's for. Of course, you're going to have people that abuse it. You're going to have people that are in their addiction, the people that you know what I mean? I see why it's there, and it's a good reason to have it. The problem is people abuse it.
Well, we just need to shrink the government. We need to get it down to money comes back to the people, and then minimum wage wouldn't be a question. Help with, because let me tell you, I got a personal example right here in my neighborhood. I don't really know a lot of the people in the neighborhood. I follow them on those little neighborhood apps. There was a lady posted in there and said, hey, look, I just got a divorce. I'm a single mother. You will not believe this lady's entire place was furnished by people in this neighborhood. Furnished.
That's what I'm saying. There's a lot of good.
Yeah, we can take care of each other. But if we don't have the money, it's very hard to. So give us our money back. Stop spending our money on stupid crap that nobody's asking for. And stop making yourself rich because all these politicians are becoming millionaires. They're taken care of.
But I mean, you have roads, you have running water, you have sewage, you have electricity, you have all these things are fair prices too. I mean, it's not like you're paying. I can run my AC and it's it's expensive. You know what I mean? But I mean, relatively. I mean, come on.
You do know that we had all of those things before the tax system came along, right?
And that's a local tax. There's state taxes. There's local taxes, and I do pay for water, so it's not like they just give me free water. It's the federal money. It's the people up in the top level that take your federal income taxes and they spend it on whatever they see fit, and they don't have to worry about what they're getting in return because it ain't their money. They don't even care if it's quality because it ain't coming to them.
I mean, I totally agree.
So, and I think that's the stuff that people are getting tired of. You got to stop this nonsense. So.
But I just try to have a good outlook on it. I understand you have to be aware of it and you have to kind of like try to fight and make sure that it's going the right places and have a say and actually cause a ruckus when need to. But at the same time, it's like we still are in the greatest country in the world, in my opinion, with full of opportunity and full of good people. But yes, there is bad people. There is people that abuse the system, and it just is what it is.
Well, but Brian, you can take years to become the greatest country in the world and lose it in a minute. So if you're not on guard, if you're not watching and on guard, you're going to see it slip away a lot faster than you took to create it. So you should care.
Yeah, I think you just need more medication.
Yes, I need to up my doses.
Mine's too high. Mine's too high.
Hey, I think this guy used to say this at work all the time. He said, you can always improve on the improvement.
Yeah.
Just because, like you say, we're the greatest country, I'm like, yeah, but we can still be better.
Sure. And then,
you get what I'm saying?
Oh, 100%. I think that's great, Jake. Mike, I think that's great. I think that is true, 100%. The problem is I don't want to lose sight of the opportunity and the gift of living in this country and being in this country. That's the only thing I don't want to lose.
Well, you can do it.
If we go too far from it, we start to get this negative outlook, and then nobody gets along. Then everybody's fighting everybody. Everybody's like, everybody's fucked up. Everybody's horrible. It's like, no, there's good people. We just got to be careful. You
can do it with a positive attitude. I mean, people right now are finding ways to 3D print organs. They didn't say, hey, doctors, you're dumb. You're making organs from taken by. No, they're saying, I'm going to improve this. There's nothing negative about finding a way to make something better. If your attitude is negative, or if you're focused on the problem and you're not being part of the solution, yeah, you are the problem. But there's always ways to make things better. People do it all the time.
Oh, yeah,
Most of the time, they're doing it to get rich.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Capitalism.
Yeah,
Capitalism. That's the benefit. Yes.
Awesome.
Right.
I agree.
So we agree about that. So we didn't have all the time to go through all executive orders, which is probably doubled by now anyways. So why don't we go ahead, pull the pin. It was a good discussion on it anyway, branched out as much as we could about a lot of topics. But why don't we pull the pin and go into our favorite segment. Pull the pin already, and you all know what it's about. So who would like to go first?
I don't have anything.
All right, you don't have anything?
No.
Fine. You need a minute? I could go first.
Go
Because
ahead.
This moment is always just so awkward. I want to pull the pin on Walmart. Now, not for the obvious reasons. I specifically want to pull the pin on Walmart today. And I mean the COVID Walmart of today. I have a Walmart, like the Supermart, the grocery store one that's near me. It's not the full-blown Walmart.
Neighborhood.
Yeah, that's what I think it's called, neighborhood Walmart. And I've been going there food shopping, trading off with another local place, And so I go in there the other day, and I walk in, my mask on, like my slave muzzle. I'm a good little boy. I'm following the rules. Man standing there, right there, making sure that he says hello, and he's got me visual and the mask on. And I look around, there's no shopping carts. And I'm like, what's going on? He's like, yeah, we got nobody to collect them. So I go back outside, right? And I go find a shopping cart, right? Nobody wiped it down, clearly, because they don't really care about if I catch COVID from the shopping cart anymore. They used to care about that. But nobody wiped it down. So then I go in and I take my shopping cart, and there's this big, huge open space where there used to be a bunch of cash registers. And the guy looks at him and he goes, yeah, they're putting in more machines, less registers. And I'm sitting there thinking, I'm like, you got to be kidding me. They've just shut down all these small businesses. Walmart's got all this money, and you're cutting employees, and you don't even give a damn if I get COVID from one of your shopping carts? I turned around, dude. I said, you're not getting another dime from me, period, and I will not shop there again. So I'm pulling the pin on Walmart. You are a big company with lots of money. Knock this crap off. Done.
So you're saying that they didn't? Maybe some people called in sick or something?
No.
Okay.
They're doing away with cash registers for machines.
Well, you
Self-checkout.
you know why, right?
Why?
That's the response to this, minimum
COVID.
wage. Yeah, I know,
Oh, the minimum wage. Oh,
Yeah, think about it.
the Walmart needs to worry about minimum wage.
It's money, man.
I'm just saying, Walmart
Yeah.
needs to worry about minimum
Yeah, if
wage.
you look at all the employees they have.
You know what?
When they first start talking, I don't want to spend all night talking about your pull the pin now, but when they start talking about
First
raising the minimum wage to $15, I was like, wow. And I started seeing like McDonald's has a kiosk where you can go order, so you don't have to go up to the front and talk to someone. That I said, oh, they're getting rid of positions now. They can see it coming, so they're just balancing it out, so they can still make their profit. Makes sense.
Except nobody was collecting carts.
That's not a priority.
It is when you're worried about COVID and we're wiping it down. We're giving yeah.
They're not worried about that anymore.
No, they're not. But to make sure I got my mask on, and I did have it on.
Yeah. But I
Now we're
was
worried about the executive orders.
so what?
So now we're worried about the COVID. Now it's the executive orders we're worried about.
Well, that's part of it. There were a
Yeah.
lot of COVID executive orders.
Yeah,
But-
the mask
It was like-
mandate.
Yeah, there's a
Maybe
lot
we
of
just
them.
need more visas for shopping cart collectors.
Oh,
We need more of those coin things.
What coin? Oh yeah, like
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
it's
All right.
coming. It's
Yeah,
coming.
it is.
Yeah.
And that might pull the pin.
All right. Yeah, I'll go to mine. This is something that's near and dear to my heart, guys, and yours too. Yours too. I always say that you have to have full accountability. I'm going to pull the pin on law enforcement supporters. Sometimes, within any group, you're going to have a bad apple, or two, or three, or whatever. You're going to have that. So why is it that when a police officer literally does something wrong, you still support him, or you're quiet about it? I'm telling you, man, when I went through the academy, it was this guy there. His last name, I'm not gonna say his name. He's retired by now. He was a Detective Lemon, right?
Mm.
Literally Lemon, right? And he said, whatever you do, don't embarrass the badge, because that carries more weight than all the good that we do. So when you guys are out there and you support bad officers, you're embarrassing the badge even more. That's why I like to call them out. If they did something wrong, I call it out. You know, I'm a 100% law enforcement supporter, but the ones that embarrass the badge, I don't have nothing for you. Nothing. I don't go with that. Hey, we're human. Nah, we're trained. We're trained. We're trained better than that. So when you mess up, you own it, right? And you, for all the supporters out there, you should make them own it. Then people will have more respect for us. And I'm not talking about next year or 3 years. I'm talking about maybe 7 to 10 years from now. But we have to do our part as well. That's my pull to pin.
He must have got pulled over yesterday.
No, actually, I didn't. No, no.
Or his white privilege card didn't work anymore.
They shredded it.
All right, bro, what do you got?
I ain't got nothing today, man. I ain't got shit. I was trying to think of something good. I just couldn't, man. You know, well, there's one thing I was thinking about. You guys ever go to Lowe's or Home Depot? Okay, you know how they have
Within the last hour.
I've still been trying. I got to Google this, but can you park in the pro section? I mean, how do you know if you're fucking pro or not? You know what I mean? Pro homeowner or professional? Like you have to have a contractor's license. Like I've always been scared to park there. I mean, luckily they have a veterans one, but what if you're getting wood or something? You know what I mean? Can you go in the pro park? I don't know. I just always wondered about that. It's funny how those signs will deter people. You know what I mean? You can put a random sign like, city officer, and nobody will park there. It's just that weird like. But it's always like I'm not a pro, but can I park here? I want to be closer, so I never do. But so I want to pull the pin on that. I want to pull the pin. Maybe just say courtesy, professionals first. You know what I mean? I don't know, something like that. I don't know.
Don't do it.
It's just fun.
Don't do it. Everybody's gonna park there. They don't get. Once you say courtesy, no.
Yeah,
that. I'm getting the clip. Yeah.
But isn't it crazy how that works though psychologically? Like you think everybody's an asshole, but like that something psychologically goes, I can't park there.
Yeah.
So that's good. There's people that still park in handicap spots that are not handicapped, so they could care less about a pro spot.
Like here in this area, all the handicap spots are taken. You have so many disabled vets. You know, all the handicap
skipping in the store and shit.
Yeah, I just laugh at it, man. I'm like, hey, do you?
Like a damn Broadway show.
Yeah. I never liked those. Handicap, I'll give it, but all the other ones, I'm like, man, or like expecting mother. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's awkward when I park there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really awkward when I get out of the car on that one.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Well, I'm expecting a mother.
Yeah.
She's not here yet, but I'm expecting one. All right, guys, that's all the time we have for this episode. We hope you liked what we had to share. We hope you enjoy it. We hope you come back till next time. And until then, Godspeed.
Hey, and pull the pin.
Get some.
Thanks for joining us here at Pull the Pin Already. We hope you had as much fun as we did. If you like what we do, go ahead and hit that like button and share this video with a friend. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell button so you don't miss out on any of our future episodes. But most importantly, leave a comment below. Let us know if you agree or disagree with our opinions. Hope to see you here next time on Pull the Pin Already.